Hi guys, it's Josh Lloyd here for your NBA first look for DraftKings for Friday. I'm here, half my voice is here, so I apologize for the raspy quality of this video, but while you're adjusting to the change in tone, hit subscribe, hit the bell, give it a thumbs up. Get yourself notified when one of these videos comes out. 10 games on Friday, pretty busy date. The first game we look at, the Indiana Pacers and the Charlotte Hornets. Domantas Sabonis, obviously, he's fine to go because we saw him play against this team just a couple of days ago. And in fact, no injuries to really be too concerned about. Jeremy Lamb was a stinker. 4,900 for him, though. I would imagine that he starts again, and I imagine that he'll be better than he was in the last game. I like him a bit here to be like a 27 to 28 point scorer, which at 4,900 is good. Gordon Hayward is at 7,000, and that looks like just nonsense. Why is he so low? I love that price for Hayward. That looks awesome to me, as does 9,200 for the big fella. Domantas Sabonis, a real shit ton of value with those guys. And they've dropped LaMelo Ball quite a bit, and understandable because his numbers have been down. I don't mind him as a flyer, because if he plays 30 minutes, he'll get 35 to 40 points, and at 5,800, I like that. And even though he has been struggling, he had a 30-point game just a couple of games ago. 5,800 is a nice salary there. Miles Turner's at 72. I'm not that into it. While Malcolm Brogdon at 84. I think that's probably about right. And his floor is relatively consistent and relatively stable. So that looks not bad. Rozier and Graham, you can have them. I'll leave them for you, not for me. The next game that we take a look at, we've got the Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards. And this one's interesting because the Wizards, a bunch of guys returning here. So you've got Mo Wagner back, you've got Russell Westbrook back after resting last game, you've got Rui Hachimura returning, and you've got Davis Bertans returning. Still no Denny Avdia, still no Ish Smith, still no Troy Brown. Cam Reddish is questionable for the Hawks, while Capella is probable, and Rondo is questionable there as well. Wagner's at 3,200. Now, I don't think he's going to get a huge amount of minutes, but Alex Len, Robin Lopez, Jordan Bell, they haven't been excelling. I think Wagner's at least a flyer type guy. I love Trae Young at 9,100. He is really in form at the moment. He had 56 last game. He's averaging 57 over his last 5. 9,100 is super cheap for Trae. 8,900 for Capella. Now, he was limited last game in small ball situations. I don't think that's going to be too much for concern here. I just think 89 is probably a little bit too high. 9,000 for Russ, I'm not interested in. Well, Hachimura is at 4,900. Now, Rui's a guy that does need quite a bit of volume in terms of minutes, and I'm not sure how they're going to go in terms of easing him back. But at that sub 5,000 price, I do think that he's worth at least taking a look at in a tournament. Same with Bertans at 5,100. There's a little bit of value. I wouldn't use both of those guys, but there is at least some value in chucking them in. Brad Beal's at 10.2. Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll put up his numbers pretty comfortably. And Johnny Collins at 72. Collins is producing at a good level. I'm not 100% in on him here at that salary, but I don't think that it's one that we need to completely just steer clear of. The next game we look at is the Milwaukee Bucks. It is the New Orleans Pelicans. For this one, the Bucks are 7-point favorites, and the total is 228.5. So definitely a little bit of blowout risk here. Lonzo Ball is questionable. The Pelicans do expect him to play, is my understanding, but we don't know that. If he is out, we're looking at Nickeil Alexander-Walker at 4,200 as a great option, and I think Eric Bledsoe gets a boost. Bledsoe had 33 last game, and he's at 5,700 in that scenario where Lonzo's out. Both of those guys are worth looking at. As for Lonzo himself, he was on his way to a really big game last time. He's only at 5,300. He had 25 points and a half of basketball, which is awesome at that 5,300 mark. Do I believe that's going to continue long-term? I'm not sure, but he's at least worth a squiz. Bob Portis at 42. Now, Portis is a guy that gets more minutes in blowouts. There's a blowout risk here, so we could get 25-minute Bob Portis. 4,200. I like the GPP-ness of it. Zion Williamson, 7,600. One of the best floor plays out there, one of the best cash guys. He just gets in there and does what he needs to do, while Yanni's at 10,800. The blowout's the only concern, but even then, I'm not all that concerned with it. I think Middleton's probably a little bit too high, and the 5,200 for Brook Lopez, this might be one of those games where they do just limit him, which keeps him in the 25-minute zone rather than the 30-minute zone, which is where his value can come from. Next up, we've got the Cavs and the Knicks. The Knicks are 1-point favorites. The total is 206. Alec Burks is probable, while Larry Nance is questionable and Reggie Bullock is questionable. Darius Garland's at $5,000. He's back starting. I like that price a lot for Garlo. In his first game back starting, he had 26 points, so already beating value, and it wasn't the greatest night for him, so he can be much better. And then his backcourt teammate, Colin Sexton, 6,700. I'm not sure his upside is massive because of the nature of his game, which is just a lot of scoring. But at that price, the floor is strong, while RJ Barrett's at 63. And Barrett also mainly just gets it done by scoring. I'm not sure he's the best DFS option here. High price on Julius Randle, still at 9,300, but still a relatively solid amount of value, while Andre Drummond, it's really hard for me to peg. Because I look at Drummond and go 28 minutes a night, that's fine. And then he goes out and has a 47% usage and drops 60 DraftKings points. How is that possible? That is not an ingredient for winning basketball. But do I just trust that he's going to go out there and take a million shots again? I don't know. It's very hard for me to trust that. Mitch Robinson, no thanks. Emmanuel quickly at 48. Well, we're going to finally see, or hopefully, Bullock, Rivers, Burks, Payton, and Quickly all playing and seeing who the odd man out is. There is absolutely a shit ton of variance in what Quickly does, so that makes him hard to use for cash. Okoro, Allen, Nance, Osman, not much interest in any of those guys for me. Next up, we've got the Sacramento Kings. They are taking on the Toronto Raptors in this game. The Raptors are 5.5-point favorites. The total here is 229. OG Anunoby is questionable, while Nemanja Bjelica is doubtful. Cool, that's fine. Lowry, 7,100. I think I like it, especially against a Kings team whose defense has been pretty iffy all season, so I like that low salary. And then Chris Boucher at 61. It's been a rough go of things for Boucher, and his salary's dropped. I think the matchup suits him here. There's no big-ass bruiser that's going to be limiting his playing time. So this could be 50-point Boucher territory, I think. I like Van Vliet a lot at 75, who's really establishing himself as a star-adjacent type player, while Halliburton at 48 doesn't do it for me. I don't want to spend up on Siakam, and 85 for Fox is probably just a little bit on the high side for me. Fox has been pretty strong, but 85 is a lot. He had 44, 42, 41 the last 3 games, so it's right there, but I'm just not... I don't know, I'm just not feeling that sort of price tag on De'Aaron Fox. There's not much else that super excites me. Maybe Bagley at 58. Hield was great last game, but he's at 65. It just doesn't suit me massively. If Anunoby is out, Norm Powell's at 62. I want nothing to do with Powell if Anunoby plays, but if OG is out, then I think Powell does come into consideration for us. The next game, the Philadelphia 76ers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Still no Karl Anthony Towns, still no Juancho Hernan-Gomez, and D'Angelo Russell is questionable, while Joel Embiid has appeared on the injury report as questionable with a back injury. It's been a rough little bit of time here for Seth Curry, 4,400. I like him as a GPP guy. And Benny Simmons, that is a low price for Simo. 7,700 for him. He put up a big triple-double last game and had 54 points. He's averaging 41 over the last 5. And against this Timberwolves team, no worries. I like him quite a bit here. Embiid's at 94, and if he plays, that looks great. While Jared Vanderbilt's at 5,100. I like what Vandy's doing. He's just going out there, racking up peripherals, averaging 27 in his last 6. That's fine at 5,100. I'm not sure there's a huge amount of upside, but it's not bad. Naz Reid as well. He's at 5,900. He's going to get another start with Towns out, and he dropped 44 in the last game. Really good stuff from Reid. The price is elevated, obviously, but it's not out of your reach. And the 6,400 for Malik Beasley, I think, is a relatively solid salary for us to take a look at. Next up, it is the Brooklyn Nets taking on the streaking Oklahoma City Thunder, who have had 2 big wins in a row here. George Hill is out once again for OKC. So that's worth mentioning. So Teo Maledon, 3,400 for Maledon. He is absolutely someone we can look, as I just take that game out to just narrow my playing focus. Maledon was really, really solid last game. He had 24 DraftKings points and at 3,400 starting point guard. Like it. Baisley's at 5,000. He's tough to use. And Gilgeous-Alexander's at 8,300, which I do like quite a bit. He's been putting up some big, big numbers. You've got Kyrie at 87, you've got Durant at 9.9, you've got Harden at 10.3. I'd probably take Kyrie at 87 for a solid 42 to 43 point mark. Those other guys are harder to trust. Now, Harden does look like he's figuring it out a bit. He had 72 last game, so he's fine to use, and as is Durant at 99. But I'd look at Harden more as a GPP guy, Durant as a cash guy, and Kyrie probably as both. Is how I'd look at that. DeAndre Jordan's at 51. His minutes continue to be limited, despite the only other center being Reggie Perry. And that should tell you all you need to know about the state of DeAndre Jordan's game at the moment. The next one is the Lakers taking on the LA Clippers, a back-to-back here for the Clippers. They likely will be without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They'll definitely be without Patrick Beverley. Nikola Vucevic is at a great price, $8,800 for Vuce. Love what he's doing. He's averaging 49 over his last 5. Absolutely love this here. While Cole Anthony at 5,400 looks to be figuring it out a little bit, which I am in on. Marcus Morris at 49 is a GPP guy. When Aaron Gordon, he'd want to make up for whatever the hell that was that he dished out last game. I forgot that he's not a power forward on DraftKings there because he is that real combo of point guard, small forward. He's at 7,100. That looks good to me. While Reggie Jackson at 6,700, it always is a little bit of a risk with someone like Reggie Jackson because we know that he's bad, but the opportunity is there for him again. And he was solid once again against the Heat, so no reason to completely steer clear of him. The 6,700 is not an ideal price tag, but I think we can live with it. And then you got Luke Kennard as probably another GPP sort of guy that I would consider for the Clippers. Evan Fournier maybe at 6,400, but it feels like it's probably just a little bit on the high side there for me. The Denver Nuggets and the San Antonio Spurs. Who's buying into a Trey Lyles revenge game? The Nuggets are 3.5-point favorites. The total is 224 for this one. DeJounte's at 6,100. I like it a little bit, but I'm not massively into it. And then Michael Porter. The thing that steers me away from Porter is the fact that Malone is bringing him off the bench, but he's still putting up big numbers. But I need more. I need 38s to 39s instead of 33s and 34. So that's a little bit off with him. I love DeRozan. Look at that salary for DeMar DeRozan. He is at 6,800. He had just a casual 37 last game. He's averaging 36 in his last 5. That to me looks like absolute cash money. And Big Chungus Nikola Jokic, 10,100. That is also cash money. LaMarcus Aldridge, I wish you very, very good luck. As for Aldridge, 5,500 for him. He's just not getting enough peripherals, not enough rebounds. Although in saying all that, he's averaging 33 DraftKings points in the last 3 games. He had 32 last game. So he's just quietly churning out numbers. I'm not sure I buy it or his ability to stay completely in the game with Jokic tearing him apart, but his recent numbers have been a bit impressive, or impressive compared to where they were anyway. The headmaster, Jamal Murray, not all that interested in getting him into a lineup. The last game is the Dallas Mavericks and the Utah Jazz. The Donovan Mitchell's questionable, so that's the big one there. If he is out, we're looking at Jordan Clarkson and Joe Ingles at 47 and 64 respectively. I'd be much more in on Ingles at 47 just because of that cheaper price, while Rudy Gobert continues to be criminally underpriced. 7,500 is awesome. Joshie Richardson's at 43, second game back, not interested. I like Doncic, I'm not alone there, but at 10-6, anything under 11, you've always got to look at Donch. And then 7-9 for Porzingis, who's been a little bit down in the last couple of games. And I'm not sure that the Utah matchup is the right one to go back to KP. 5,600 for Timmy Hardaway. I'm not super in on that either. All right, that'll do it. That's 10 games for the NBA for Friday. Don't forget, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up. Good luck with your lineups, and thank you for watching, everyone. See ya.